Exodus chapter 27. The altar for Holocaust. You are to make the altar out of acacia wood, a square 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide, its height to be 3 cubits. At its 4 corners you are to put horns, the horns to be one piece with it, covering it with bronze. For the service of the altar you are to make pans for taking away the ashes from the burning fat, as well as shovels, sprinkling basins, forks, fire trays. You must make all the vessels for the altar out of bronze. You are also to make a grating for it of bronze network, and on the 4 corners of these put 4 bronze rings. You shall set the grating under the ledge of the altar, all below, so that it reaches halfway up the altar. And for the carrying of the altar you are to make poles of acacia wood and cover them with bronze. These are to be passed through the rings so that they are on either side of the altar when it is carried. You are to make the altar hollow with boards in the same way that was shown to you on the mountain. The court. You are to make also the court of the tabernacle. The curtains on the south side of the court shall be of fine twined linen, 100 cubits long for one side. Their 20 bronze posts are to be set in the 20 bronze bases, and to have hooks and connecting rods of silver. So too for the northern side they are to be curtains 100 cubits long, and 20 posts set in 20 bases of bronze, with their hooks and connecting rods of silver. Across the width of the court on the western side, there are to be 50 cubits of curtains carried on 10 posts, set in 10 bases. The width of the court on the eastern side facing the sunrise is to be 50 cubits. On one side of the entrance there are to be 15 cubits of curtains carried on 3 posts set in 3 bases. On the other side of the entrance there are also to be 15 cubits of curtains carried on 3 posts set in 3 bases. The entrance to the court is to consist of screen 20 cubits wide, made of purple wool, violet shade and red, of crimson wool and fine twined linen, the work of a skilled weaver, carried on 4 posts set in their 4 bases. All the posts enclosing the court are to be connected by silver rods. Their hooks are to be of silver, their bases of bronze. The length of the court is to be 100 cubits, its width 50 cubits, its height 5 cubits. All the curtains are to be made of fine twined linen and their bases of bronze. All the utensils for whatever uses in the tabernacle, all the pegs of it and of the court must be of bronze. Oil for the lamps. You are to command the people of Israel to bring you pure oil for the lamp, and to keep a flame burning there perpetually. Aaron and his sons are to set this flame in the tent of meeting outside the veil that is before the testimony. It must burn there before the Lord from evening to morning perpetually. This is an irrevocable statute for all generations of Israelites. Exodus chapter 28. The priestly garments. Set apart from among the sons of Israel your brother Aaron and his sons, and summon them to be priests in my service. Aaron and his sons Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. For Aaron your brother you are to make sacred vestments to give him dignity and splendor. You are to instruct all the ablest craftsmen whom I have endowed with proper ability, to make Aaron's vestments for his consecration to my priesthood. These are the vestments they must make: breastpiece, ephod, robe, embroidered tunic, turban, and girdle, for your brother Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests. You shall use gold, purple wool, violet shade and red, crimson wool, and fine linen. the ephod and the breastpiece. They are to make the ephod of gold, purple wool, violet shade and red, crimson wool and linen, the work of a skilled embroiderer. It must have 2 shoulder straps fitted to it to join its 2 ends together. The woven band on it to hold it all on is to be of similar workmanship and to form one piece with it. This must be of gold thread, purple wool, violet shade and red, crimson wool and fine twined linen. You will then take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel. 6 of their names on one stone, the remaining 6 on the other in the order of their birth. With the art of a jeweler, of an engraver of seals, you are to engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel and mount them in settings of gold mesh. You are to fasten the 2 stones commemorating the sons of Israel to the shoulder straps of the ephod. In this way Aaron will bear the names on his shoulders in the presence of the Lord, that he may keep them in mind. You must also make golden rosettes and 2 chains of pure gold twisted like cords. You are to attach these cord-like chains to the rosettes. You are to make the breastpiece of judgment, finely embroidered of the same workmanship as the ephod. You are to make it of gold, purple wool, violet shade and red, crimson wool and fine twined linen. It is to be square and doubled over 9 inches in length and 9 inches in width. In this you are to set 4 rows of stones, sard, topaz, carbuncle for the first row, emerald, sapphire, diamond for the second row. For the third row, hyacinth, ruby, amethyst, and for the 4th row, beryl, onyx, jasper. These are to be mounted in gold settings. There are to be 12 stones according to the number of the sons of Israel, whose names are engraved on them. They are to be engraved like seals, each with the name of one of the 12 tribes. For the breastpiece you will make chains of pure gold twisted like cords, and also 2 gold rings, and fix them to its 2 upper corners. You must fasten the 2 gold cords to the 2 rings fixed on the corners of the breastpiece. The other 2 ends of the cords you must fasten to the 2 rosettes, so that they will be attached to the shoulder straps of the ephod on the front. You are to make 2 gold rings and fix them to the 2 lower corners of the breastpiece on the inner hem, next to the ephod on the front. You are to make 2 more gold rings and fix them low down on the front of 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, close to the seam above the woven band of the ephod. You must secure the breastpiece by passing a ribbon of violet purple through its rings and those of the ephod, so that the breastpiece will sit above the woven band and not come apart from the ephod. So when Aaron enters the sanctuary wearing the breastpiece of judgment, he will bear the names of the sons of Israel on his breast to call them to mind continually in the presence of the Lord. On the breastpiece of judgment you will put the Urim and the Thummim, by means of which he takes the decisions for the Israelites. Aaron shall have them on his breast when he goes into the Lord's presence. Other garments. You are to make the robe of the ephod entirely of violet purple. In the center it must have an opening for the head, and a border woven around the neck to keep the robe from being torn. You shall decorate the lower hem with pomegranates of purple wool, violet shade and red, crimson wool, and finely woven linen all around the hem. And you shall fit gold bells in between, gold bells and pomegranates alternately all around the lower hem of the robe. Aaron is to wear this robe when he serves before God, so that the tinkling of the bells will be heard whenever he enters the sanctuary and goes into the Lord's presence or leaves it, so that he may not die. You are to make a plate of pure gold and engraved on it, consecrated to the Lord like the engravings on a seal. You will tie these to the front of the turban with a ribbon of violet. Aaron is to wear it on his forehead and so take on himself any sins which the sons of Israel may have committed in any of their sacred offerings. Aaron must always wear this plate on his forehead to draw down on the Israelites the goodwill of the Lord. You shall also weave the tunic of fine linen and make a headpiece of fine linen and a girdle, the work of a skilled weaver in checker. You are to make a tunic and a girdle and a turban for the sons of Aaron, to give them dignity and splendor. You would put all these ornaments on your brother Aaron and his sons. You will then anoint and invest and consecrate them to serve me in the priesthood. You are to make for them breeches of white linen to cover their nakedness from waist to thigh. Aaron and his sons must wear these when they go into the tent of meeting, and when they approach the altar to serve in the sanctuary. If they do not, they will incur guilt and die. This is an irrevocable statute for Aaron and for his descendants after him. Psalm 35, Prayer for the Just in Persecution. Contend, O Lord, with those who war against me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take up shield and buckler, rise up and come to my aid. Brandish spear and javelin against my pursuers. Say to my soul, I am your Savior. Let them be shamed and dishonored, those who seek my life. Let them be routed and destroyed, those who plot my ruin. Let them be chaff before the wind, when the Lord's angel blows them away. Let their path be dark and slippery, with the Lord's angel always at their heels. They set their net against me for no cause. They dug a pit for me without reason. Let ruin come upon them unawares. Let them be entangled in their own snare. Let them fall into the trap of their own making. Then will my soul rejoice in the Lord and exult in his salvation. My whole being will exclaim, O Lord, who is like you? You who delivered your praise from those too strong for them. You who rescue the poor and the afflicted from their despoilers. False witnesses take their stand, accusing me of crimes I am innocent of. For my kindness they return evil, making my life forlorn. But I, when they were sick, wore sackcloth. I mortified myself with fasting. I prayed hard with head bowed. I went about mourning as though for a friend or brother. I bowed my head in grief as though weeping for my mother. But when I stumbled, they gathered in glee. They gathered together against me, even total strangers fabricated charges against me. Like an ungodly circle of mockers, they gnashed their teeth and made me the butt of all their ridicule. How long, O Lord, will you look on? Rescue me from their ravages. Deliver my life from these lions. Then I will thank you in the great assembly. I will praise you in the mighty throne. Do not let them gloat over me. Those who unprovoked have become my foes. Do not let them wink maliciously, those who hate me without cause, sowing discontent with their tongue and mind. Not a word of peace they have for the peace-loving people of the land. They open wide their mouths against me. They scoff and say, we have seen it with our own eyes. But it is you, O Lord, who see the truth. Do not be silent, O Lord. Do not stand afar. Stir yourself up, stand up for my rights, for my cause. My God and my Lord, declare me innocent, O Lord, my God, according to your justice. Do not give them the opportunity to gloat over me. Do not let them say to themselves, see just what we wanted. Never give them reason to say, we have trampled him down. Let them be utterly disgraced and confounded who exult over my calamity. Let them be ashamed and dishonored and rejoice at my distress, but let those who delight in my innocence shout for joy and rejoice. Let them always say, Great is the Lord who gives his servant a deserved reward. Then will my tongue proclaim your goodness, then will I sing your praises all day long. Matthew chapter 22, verse 23 to 46. The resurrection of the dead. That same day some of the Sadducees came to Jesus. Since they claimed that there was no resurrection, they questioned him like this. Master, Moses said that if a man dies childless, his brother must marry the widow and raise up children for his dead brother. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first married a wife and he died. Since he had no children, he left his wife to his brother. The same thing happened to the second and to the third, and so on until the 7th. Then last of all, the woman also died. Now in the resurrection of the dead, which of the 7 will have her as wife? For all of them had married her. Jesus answered, You are totally wrong because you understand nothing, the scriptures nor the power of God. First of all, in the resurrection of the dead, neither man nor woman will marry, but they will be like the angels in heaven. And about the resurrection of the dead, have you never reflected on what God said to you? I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is God not of the dead, but of the living. The people who heard him were astonished at his teaching. The great commandment. When the Pharisees heard how Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they came together. One of them, a teacher of the law, tried to test with this question, Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law? Jesus answered, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and the most important of the commandments. But there is another one like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets are found on these 2 commandments. Whose son is the Christ? As the Pharisees were gathered there, Jesus asked them, What do you think of the Christ? Whose son is he? They answered, David's. Jesus then asked, Why then did David, inspired by the Spirit, call him Lord? For he says in a psalm, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right until I put your enemies under your feet. If David calls him Lord, how can the Christ be his son? No one answered him, not even a word. From that day on, no one dared question him any more.